flashcards really heavily on these.
Ooh, DID, that's dissociative identity disorder.
Yep.
That's okay, don't.
No, it's okay. I was just going to ask you that when the video was on, but might as well save time. Okay. All right. Dissociative disorders. What makes them different from other psychological disorders? Even if you had to guess.
Gosh, I would think. Oh man, I just think that well, okay, here's like dissociative amnesia is basically when you forget. You just forget.
Yeah.
And you just forgot what to. I think it's amnesia, really.
Disturbances or lacking in cognitive abilities like memory, but also personality. So tell me, okay, DID, which stands for dissociative identity disorder. What do you think happens there?
Man. Okay, so you have this identity. Oh man, it's connected to the serial killer, right?
Kind of.
There's a serial killer who has dissociative identity disorder. Was it that he thought he was nice, but he really wasn't?
I'll give you a hint. It used to be called this before we decided it wasn't very nice.
Split person. So that's kind of like mood disorders. Is that like mood disorder?
The person shows
It's like high school.
2 or more distinct identities. So one of them might be the uber Christian who's like super moral and super churchy, and the other one might be the party girl, and they literally switch between these 2
So
identities.
Freud is the example of with the identity.
In the superego? No, he says that's part of all of us. This is a specific disorder where they literally have like multiple personalities that they switch between.
So crazy.
It's very interesting and odd. Okay, so these have a little bit more to do with memory. Tell me what you think dissociative amnesia means.
So that's when you have an event,
It can be based on that event.
based on an event that causes you to forget who you are.
Forgets your personal information. You don't necessarily just totally forget everything, but you might forget that traumatic event, or you might forget a few years of your life that were particularly bad. This one can be temporary, like that people have lost these memories and then they come back.
Okay.
So, and it's not all of the info, it's like you might lose a few years of your life that were particularly traumatic to your memory, but you still know your name and
Who your relatives are?
depending on whether or not they're in that few years only that you blocked out. So it kind of depends. Okay. Dissociative fugue is different because you forget all your personal info. And what usually happens here is you actually like just leave. You go find a new family, find a new wife, have new kids. You forget all about your new life and you go get a new one. These people just like leave home. All right? Any questions on dissociative disorders or the examples of them?
No, dissociative amnesia and dissociative
Fugue.
fugue. How long does dissociative fugue last for?
It either can last a matter of minutes to years.
So they're both kind of the same with a time, right?
Yeah. This one's usually a little bit more.
Okay.
Some all longer. That's the difference.
And dissociative amnesia is just saying you only forget within...
Like, if you had a traumatic event, you might forget that event. If you had a few years that were pretty hard, you might forget those years. But you remember the rest of your life, usually.
Or come back over time? Or
With amnesia, it's possible it will come back over time.
possible that it will come back over time. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You good with this?
Yes. Except the DID.
Dissociative identity disorder
So, split personality disorder.
is what we used to call it. And the person shows two or more distinct identities that they switch between. So they have multiple personalities and you never know which one you're going to get. Sometimes they even have different names.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
All right.